Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to demystify custom headers and footers by making your first custom header and footer using Nexter's intuitive theme builder, which is something that a lot of other premium themes even don't have. So we're going to walk you through why headers and footers are important, how to use the theme builder, how to build a basic header, which is a logo, navigation menu, and a button, how to make it sticky, and how to build a simple footer, which is copyright and social media icons. Alright, so first let's talk about why a header and footer is important. Well, when you log on to your website, it's very important because that's where you have your branding, that's where you have your navigation, that's where you have your contact information or buttons. Well, the same thing also with footer, where you scroll down, you can find the company's address there, their corporate history, important stuff that your customers and users might need to know besides the actual content on the page and stuff that might actually need to be persistent. So, in a previous video, we showed you how to make a basic website, right? And here it is. This is just a single page, but what if we wanted to add other pages? And what if we wanted to add, change up our logo over here and add a button and add a footer? So in a previous video, we also showed you how to navigate to Nexter's theme builder. But if you haven't seen that and you want to start off with this, we're going to start off with our dashboard over here and hover down to Nexter extension and click on the theme builder. Okay, we're going to start off by making a header here. So we're going to go ahead and click on add new template, and we're going to select header layout, and we're going to call this header 1. Okay, and there's some additional settings over here, and if we wanted to make it sticky, let's go ahead and enable that. Click on next, and in here we can include it on the entire website, or we can just have it separate for different pages. So if we wanted our front page one to be a certain color, and if we wanted our archive or blog posts to have a very slim header for easier reading, you can do that. Let's go ahead and click on entire website, and you also include it from certain areas. So let's go ahead and click on create, and we're going to have our header over here. So we're going to end up in our WordPress block editor or the Gutenberg block editor, and this is where our layout will be. So in a bit, we're going to show you how all of this is going to work, why we called it header 1, and we might even make a header 2 as an example. So let's go ahead and drag and drop some options. Let's go ahead and make the header itself. Like everything else, we're going to drag and drop blocks, and just click on the block inserter here, and let's start off with a container to keep things contained. So let's go with a flex box here, and let's use this 111 over here, and let's start adding our elements. So logo, right, we're going to have our site logo. Make sure to select this purple one. Okay, and then we're going to insert a navigation menu over here, and we're going to insert a button on the last one right here. Okay, so we have our menu, and if we select over here our navigator page outline, we can see that we have containers here, and we can change our width and our height by percentage on here if you needed to do that. We can change the alignment of our objects within our block here, right? And then we can also change backgrounds, colors, shadows, and that's basically it. And we can change the gap and the padding of our elements within them. So let's go ahead and start customizing all of these. So we can center this, okay? We can change the maximum width, right? Let's go ahead and replace the image with our own logo. There you go. And we can make the logo sticky, just some SEO options here, some spacing, backgrounds, borders, if you wanted to do all those things, right? And it's up to you. Some of them are locked. We can add a border, for instance, right? I'll keep the border on there just so you can see. Next, let's tackle our navigation menu. So how does this work? So we can have our navigation menu, which these are our menu items, right? And level 0 means that's going to be the start. If we selected level 1, it's going to be one submenu. Okay, so let's go ahead and call this home, and let's enable well, we can't add a label because that's a pro feature. We can enable an icon, and we can select which icon we want, right? And we can change the icon color once we hover over this. And what link are we going to use? So all we're going to do is just go ahead and put our homepage URL here, or just click on the suggestions over there. We can search within our pages, right? Let's say we had a blog post or a certain page, like appointments or something. We could go ahead and do that. Now, let's add another one. Let's call it just the usual. These are just placeholder items. Don't worry about these. Contact form, and what's the last one? What would the last one be? Blog. Okay, and you can see that each one of these you can insert a link. So it doesn't actually have to be parts of your website. It can be right, and then you can insert our YouTube URL over here. Okay, and we can change our alignment over here. We can change our we can enable our mobile menu, and it doesn't work, as you can see. But if we were to click on mobile, it gives us our navigation menu on here, and it works just fine. So let's go ahead and return back to desktop. Let's talk about mobile menus in a different video, and we can go ahead and change our minimum height here, right? You can also change our column width, right? Let's set this back to the default values. We can make this vertical even, and then we can change the alignment, and let's go ahead and return back here, and let's justify the content to the middle. I'll change the direction over here. And you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and make this horizontal again. And let's change the typography to be a bit smaller. And you can see that it starts to conform to the area that we're given. Okay? And we can change it to be all caps if we wanted to, a bold, and then we can make them all caps if we wanted to. And for this, we might, that we can align this to the center, and then for this one in our container, we can go ahead and put everything in the middle. There you go. Now it's starting to look like a real header. Okay, so that's good. And for style, again, we can change our typography options, right? We can use global typography, right? Title 1, Title 2. We can revert it to the original, but let's go ahead and keep it on font size 13. We can change what font we want to use. Again, you'd have to adjust to conform, right? Or we can use %. Let's see, 30, maybe 60. Okay, that's fine. We'll have YouTube channel at the bottom there. And no problem, 1 bit. We can change our line height and our line spacing as well. Our letter spacing. It's very customizable. So if you wanted to make your header look very unique, you could do that. We can also change our padding. We can change our indicator and indicator color. We can add a border. Again, I'm not gonna. And we have our submenu options here. It's the same thing. If you just have submenus below each one of these items, and we can also add a description to each one of these if we wanted to. We also have options for our mobile menu. So that looks about right. Probably we might wanna change our typography a bit, but for now that's fine. Let's move on to our button here. So why would you want a button? Well, sometimes you want your customers to book an appointment with you if you have a personal professional service. If you have a web shop, you can have it link over to your web shop. And kind of redundant, but we have our YouTube channel, so let's make this a subscribe button. So let's go ahead and customize this by changing our right, and then we can go ahead and insert our website assets, YouTube channel over here, right? And we have some options over here. We can change the alignment. We can add an icon or an image, for that matter. And you search YouTube, right there. We can change our position. We can change our icon spacing, right? And we have style, so typography. Let's go with Arial %. Okay. And that should be fine. And then for the background, let's make it gold. If you guys can even remember that, let's go ahead and change this to black. And then we can change the border radius of this button to maybe 30 pixels. There you go. You can also add, I will change the icon size. Okay, and then these are just some other options for spacing, background, border, and other things. So let's go ahead and click on Publish. Okay, and let's see what it looks like. Okay, as you can see, it doesn't appear when we load it up, but once we scroll down, it's going to come down with the scroll bar over here. So what if we wanted it to be just static? All right, so let's head over here and, yeah, we ended up on our header tab over here. Let's go ahead and click on Edit. And unfortunately, there's no way to change it back to a sticky or a normal header. So what we're going to do here is a really cool trick. And I'm going to press Control A on my keyboard. I'm going to press on these 3 buttons, and I'm going to make a pattern right here. Call this header 1 pattern. Okay, and I'm going to click on Add. Okay, so we can move this around if we want to do. You see, it goes in one place. We're going to go ahead and create a new template. Let's make it the header 1 fixed. Okay, additional settings. We're going to make it normal. Okay, click on Next. And then we're going to show it on the entire website and click on Create. Now, we're going to end up in the block editor once again. And let's go ahead and search for header 1 pattern right here. Just drag and drop that. And it's going to be exactly the same. We can click on Edit Original, and we're going to end up over here. And then this is where all of our options are going to be. Okay, let's leave that. Header 1 fixed. Okay, let's edit it again. And we're going to end up with back to our block editor here. And you can see we didn't save anything. So let's go ahead and insert the header 1 pattern again. Let's go ahead and click on Publish. Right, and let's see if it draws over. Okay, there you go. It is fixed to the top of our website. So we have our icon over here. We have all of these. We have our home, which sends us to our website assets. If I click on subscribe button, it's going to make me subscribe or take me to the YouTube channel as well. Okay, that's really simple. And what if we wanted to have the sticky one again? So let's go back over to our theme builder and let's disable this and let's reload the site. And there you go, we have the sticky header again. And you've seen earlier that we have the sticky plus fixed header option when you create it. So this is just a demonstration to where we can disable this one and have the other. Alternatively, we can edit our display conditions to where on our home page we only have the sticky one, but if we had it on a blog page, right, we can select where we want to have these certain headers. So that's a great start. Now let's go ahead and talk about making a simple footer for our website. Okay, so with that done, let's go ahead and make the footer. Just the same, we're going to enter our theme builder and we're going to click on Add New Template. Okay, we're going to call it footer. We'll call it footer 1, and there's additional settings. We can have it fixed or zoom out. Let's have it normal. And let's click on Next. And let's include this on the entire website. And let's click on Create. So there aren't too many things to add to a footer. You can add a menu, but for this one, we're just going to keep it real simple. Let's add a container. Let's use Flexbox, and we'll select this one where it's short and this one where it's wide. Okay, and now let's add a header, a heading, and let's change the tag to something else. Probably something a bit, probably P, and let's put here our copyright. Okay, and then let's go ahead. Oh, we can also put a link on this, but let's center all of this up. And let's change the style to be a different color. Okay, let's keep it black. For typography, let's set it to %, and let's change the font to Times New Roman. Okay, make bold. Change the percentage to this. Okay, and then let's head over to our container here and make sure that it's all centered and lined up. Okay, and now we can go ahead and add something else. So let's add a different block here, and let's call it, well, let's add a social icon. So let's add this here, and you can see it. There are a few different options to choose from. Okay, we can go well, let's go with this so it has some color to it. And it kind of works in a similar way to the menus where we can click on these and there's a whole list of, let's say, well, Facebook, let's keep that. Let's say we want to add Instagram, right? There's a placeholder here, it's just a Facebook icon. We can scroll down here and there you go, Instagram. And we can change the icon color to something else, and we can change the background color to, I think Instagram used to be kind of brown before. So let's look for that. Light brown, like beige. Okay, and then we can add a link here, right? You can, right? And we can change the icon color or the background color when we hover over it. Let's see. And then the icon color itself, let's make that black. And it's the same for each one of these. And we can drag and drop where we want to have them. And let's say we wanted to have a custom, a custom one. And you can see that the icon changes depending on what you select. But let's say you wanted a custom one, right? And then we could select our own icon from somewhere here. And it doesn't have to be socials. So, your SMS or email, for instance. And then we can put a custom link over here and then make it work. And we can customize the color of the icon, background color, to something else. Right, let's make it green. Okay, and we can change the alignment of this, and it's real simple to use. Now, if we went over to style, we can change the icon size. We can change the image width if we had images on there. And then we can add tooltips to these. So I'm not sure if we have those enabled for the free version of Nextr. Let's enable the tooltip. Okay. Okay, there you go. And, well, that's kind of cool. And again, we can do it for everything else. Right? And again, it's real easy with these Nextr blocks because they give us a lot of options to choose from. All right, you can see with the titles over there. Yeah, let's go ahead and stick with this. That actually looks a bit nicer to look at, fills up the space. And let's add a background to this. And we're gonna make it, let's make it blue. Make it light blue. And we're gonna make sure that we can add, well, we can't add these dividers on there. We're going to make sure that our spacing is set up right. And we're going to make our content width full width, so it takes up the whole bottom space. And let's go ahead and, well, we can also change the width and the height, the gutter width. And we can change it to a minimum height, right? And then for these ones, we can change the icon size. Okay. Let's go ahead and click on Publish, and let's take a look at our site now. Okay, so again, we have our header down up here, and when we scroll down, we will find that we now have a footer. So you can see we have our copyright information here, we have our social media icons, and again, if you wanted to add other things here, you can add literally anything from the block inserter. And as you can see with all these purple ones, Nextr has so many options to choose from, and you can make whatever you want. Again, depending on your layout, with how many columns you want, the possibilities are endless. And again, we'll head over back to our theme builder, and you can enable or disable or have as many footers as you want, depending on each part of your website. So if you didn't want to have a footer on a certain part of the website, if you wanted it to only show your copyright or a search bar, you can have a totally separate one and then edit the display conditions to display it on the different parts of your website. So there you go. It's real simple to use. Nextr's theme builder, once you actually know how to use the block editor, and once you get a hang of the display conditions for where you want to display your theme templates, right? So Nextr is very versatile, very lightweight, and very adaptable to any of your needs. The limit is your imagination. So there you go. We have a header, we have a footer in WordPress using the Nextr theme and the theme builder. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, as it really helps us out with the YouTube algorithm. Show this kind of video to other nerds like us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Hey, if you want to know where to get the blocks that we used in this video to make forms real simple, real easy, check out the link in the description. It'll take you to the website of Nextr where you can get the Nextr blocks yourself. Now, if you check out the pricing, they have 3 different levels: starter, professional, and studio. We recommend getting the studio one because it's a one-time payment. It's lifetime. You get all the blocks, so you don't have to worry about not having the right blocks to get what you need done. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one. Hey, if you found this video helpful, be sure to check out one of our other videos, or go ahead and check out our channel and subscribe to see more content like this.